afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report and closing bell. How's that sound? For Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. Reached out to Riley and says, why not? Let's get 2-for-1 special here. We have a show that we're recording around 5:30 tonight. So there's a full slate of games. So I want to get everyone prefaced up to speed to what the market's doing, what the Windy City and Riley see, what I see. Talk about briefly some of the breaking news. And when I say breaking, I mean breaking. He is a bag of it is the contract that keeps on giving. I have told Riley for weeks and months, I will drive him back. I will pick up Moncada. I will pick up, what was the other one that we gave you? I'm forgetting one. Oh, that's right, Mr. Kopak. That's right. I'll tell you what. I'll let Kopak pitch lefty and Moncada bat righty. I don't give a damn at this point. If you haven't heard, Chris Sale, who was getting ready to come back. Now, whether that means sometime in September or whatever, he was going to give it another go for the bazillionth time. Riding a bike and fractured his wrist, has surgery done for the season. Now, I can say sarcastically and tongue-in-cheek, it just avoided him from getting vaccinated. How's that sound? I'll be the wise ass. He doesn't have to get vaccinated now to next April. That's before, he has another biking accident. And we'll start calling him Tatis. But the guy is cursed. He's cursed. Some people are cursed. He's cursed. It didn't matter anyways this year anyways. Go break some TVs in Worcester, do whatever you want to do. But it is what it is. Let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, my brother?
My friend, good to see you as always. It's been a couple days, so I'm happy to be here in the matinee. Getting a little switch up in the afternoon action here for you. But it's I couldn't believe my eyes. I could believe my eyes as far as the we've talked about him. He basically sold his soul for the World Series, and now it's gone south ever since. So I don't know. Yeah, I you almost just have to write him off as a baseball player at this point. And if he shows up and is effective at any point in the rest of his career, then you're applauding and taking your money for what it's worth. But until then, it is a lost cause for that guy over there, man. Good grief, I cannot believe that's what's going on there. And then we'll talk about the Red Sox. You're out in Fenway Park again today. Are they home or away today? I know I obviously looked at this game extensively. Yeah, they're in home today. Yeah, so. Is this a new rock bottom? Have they reached rock bottom for the season, or is there a way to dig down and find a deeper bottom here?
Well, coming into the weekend, it was the series, the 4-game set against Kansas City. This was the get them positioned to come home and at worst, hopefully split the 2 games with the Braves to get ready to play. I think they got the Yankees on the weekend. And this is the nail in the coffin, meaning, Braves come in, sweep the Sox, and then the Sox get swept in New York. And then we're looking at, on Thursday, we got Patriots and Giants, and then, at least we'll be looking at the preseason schedule for the Patriots versus wondering who's pitching for the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's ugly, and you've got a random makeup game with the Orioles this week too, and your only hope is that the Braves, who just got smoked by the Mets, hopefully you're hoping that they're hitting the shits, and now you can smoke them for a few days. But I'm not holding my breath for you on that one. But it's interesting news as far as other breaking news. The NFL, my neck of the woods. I'm not a Bears fan, obviously, but Roquan Smith. Publicly requesting a trade out of Chicago. I 90% of the people that I know and love and associate with are Bears fans, and they are pretty damn pissed off about this one. Obviously, the feeling around the Chicago Bears is not very optimistic this season, but Roquan Smith was, at least, especially on the defense, and then obviously, depending on where your optimisms lie, he was the one sure thing as far as this team is concerned this upcoming year, as far as being a legit dude. So interesting to see how this one plays out. Obviously, they can, negotiate and actually give him what he wants. But, claiming that, this deal that they're trying to negotiate is bad for linebackers. The structure of how linebackers are going to be paid is really interesting. So the guy obviously wants to get paid and make sure his fellow linebackers get paid so that they can help him get paid again the next time around it comes. So Bears fans are not happy. I can feel for him. The guy is a stud. I am hoping they ship his ass out of there before September. But nonetheless, interesting stuff there. I was surprised to see that one this morning.
Yeah, and then add some bad news with Becton going down and out for the year for the Jets. Another team that seems to be cursed. I think it was about 2 months ago when I had Julian on. I tongue in cheek, and I still at this point I had the Jets in front of the Pats. I had the Pats finishing fourth, with the Jets third, with the Dolphins, then the Bills. Now again, the Patriots camp has been probably the worst in the NFL. Hence the Giants 2-point favorites on Thursday in Foxborough. But there's no news that has come out of camp. I mean, we're talking to people that are there and witnessing this, and they just can't believe their eyes, from their offense to the offensive line to I mean, it's comic relief out there.
It does not sound good. I'm glad you mentioned it, because it does not sound good as far, at least offensively. And the comparison that I saw is Mac Jones and the type of issues that you might expect out of a rookie last year, and now he's having even more this year is really concerning. So, and just reading through some of the things of what you expect, not having an offensive, true offensive mind helping out Mac Jones in year two, it just seems really, really short-sighted. So I'm really curious to see what happens there, and I'm starting to buy into what you're saying as far as them being last place in that division, if that's what keeps up right now.
I brought this up this morning. I'm going to just throw you the soft lob. KD kicking the tires again yesterday. Wants the GM and the coach fired, or he wants out. I said this to Julian, it simmered for the last couple of weeks. I looked at DraftKings before we started the show with Julian, and they dropped it $100 for the Celtics now, plus $450 to win it all next year. Golden State $650. The Nets all the way down to $1,400. The initial talks a few weeks ago, everyone thought was to get Toronto and Miami back into this. All right, guys, we know you're interested. Will you throw us a bone? And now with this talk and them really looking at the market and saying, hey, we're not going to get better than Jaylen Brown White. We can ask for Smart. They're not going to give them Smart. We can try to get a couple draft picks, but are you buying, selling, or does he stick with Brooklyn and just sit out? I don't know what to say right now.
I really don't know what to say either. And this was last night, I think, which I somehow didn't see until today. But Joe Tsai, one of the people in question, tweeted out, "Our front office and coaching staff have my full support, and we'll make the best decisions in the interest of the Nets." I really don't know. I don't know what to say, and it's comical when these guys, and I retweeted something that exemplified it pretty well. It's comical when, like, obviously these stars in the NBA, especially in the NBA, obviously around sports, they're getting more leverage, but and for the most part, it is coming from the NBA, and I can understand that. But when you're the guy that was your guy that you brought in, it's also on you that this isn't working out. Then it'd be one thing if you had no point or hand in bringing these guys in, as far as this case especially. But Kevin Durant stood up for Steve Nash, and that was his guy. So and not to mention whether or not he's a good coach, I really have no idea. The amount of BS. And I don't know who else in NBA history over a couple of year seasons as a first-time head coach has dealt with more, whether it's actual, typical BS or the random Kyrie missing half his games or this or that. I mean, nobody has dealt with as much BS as Steve Nash is. So, I don't know how good of a coach he is. So I don't really know what happens here. I would not be surprised if the Nets are just sick of all of this, BS from KD. On top of that, we saw something today as far as Ben Simmons. I don't know if you saw this, but someone was reporting in Game 4 of the playoff series this year, in which I think they got swept by the Celtics, right? So it would have been Game 4, the last game, where they're all it seemed like they expected Ben Simmons to play, and then they asked him, "Hey Ben, are you playing?" And then not only does he not respond, he leaves the entire group chat entirely, and so it's a gigantic mess over there. And if you're holding on to Ben Simmons as much as he can still bring to the table outside of his shooting prowess. Obviously, you have to be tearing your hair out about what's going on. I'm not optimistic. I really don't know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be gone. I would be really shocked if all three of those guys, Simmons, Kyrie, KD, Steve Nash. I'd be shocked if all of those guys are there. Maybe at least Simmons and Nash will stick around, but nonetheless, it is a big fat mess. If you can tell me for certainty that you have any idea of what's going to happen, I am all ears because I really don't.
No, and then just playing this out, I can see Jalen getting traded there, and then Kyrie saying, "Shit, I left Boston. I don't want to play with this jackass. I'm out."
Right.
And then next thing you know, Ben's going to be sitting there again holding the ball. I ain't sticking around here. I mean, it's just the inmates running the asylum. I mean, they just have gotten too much leverage where these guys squawk loud enough, and it just becomes down to a point where, enough's enough. I tweeted, and I kind of got chastised on this one, where Jason Tatum, if he makes the All-NBA team,
yeah,
it will trigger a supermax where he can make $60 million per year, 5 for 300. Now, it's an 82-game schedule here. They're getting close to almost $1 million per. Now, let's talk load management. I mean, if he missed 20 games for load management, he'd be making $1 million a game.
Right. No, it's absurd, and you have obviously that's what his goal is going to be for the first 2-3 months of the season to get all that money, right? So, it's going to be really, really interesting. That whole situation. I think they're going to stand pat as far as keeping him and Brown. We've talked about it, obviously, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, that's going to be his goal for the first, whatever 3 months or whatever it is of the season to make the All-Star. Or is it the All-NBA team? Did you say, or is it the All-Star game? It's all NBA
all
team.
NBA.
Okay, no, because I knew there was some way, it was structured to where there was a certain amount of All-Star games. But yeah, all NBA, obviously, and which obviously he's equipped to do if he just goes nuts in the regular season. It's a no-brainer that he's going to make it.
So 2 years ago, he missed by like one vote or something.
Right.
So he was bitching, yelling, moaning, and screaming.
Right.
He got voted on it this year. So think about how bad the NBA is right now. And it's the other leagues too with these crazy incentives. We don't want to give you the guaranteed money, but if you play so many games, if you average this, if you weigh this amount, and this one is triggered by a vote. So if he is voted onto the All-NBA team or whatever damn it's called, it triggers $60 million per supermax for $300 million.
Right. And for the most part, this was set up for, smaller market teams to be able to keep their bona fide superstars who are obviously going to get that type of accolade, right? But now you're talking about a team in Boston who, probably wouldn't have – it's not the same as the Charlotte Hornets or the Sacramento Kings worrying about, hey, can I keep – which obviously they don't have that situation, but if they were fortunate enough to have that type of star, that's the type of stuff that it was set up for. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm predicting that he's going to get that type of money, or he's going to get the All-NBA team and get that type of money. So, it'll be interesting. As far as going back to the whole, Nets situation, the Lakers obviously want do they want him or not? Compared to what they have, the Lakers want Kyrie Irving. So they're going to, whatever seeds they have to put out around the rest of the NBA and stir up the pot some way or another over the next few months. They're probably going to do that because they don't want to just sit and wait for another year. Because I saw, if it doesn't happen this off season, something could happen next off season. They obviously don't want to burn another season with, Russell Westbrook if they can't help it. So, they're going to try and do whatever they can. But I'm not too optimistic for their case. But they're at least going to try and do whatever they can to pry Kyrie out of their hands over there.
Full slate MLB, some interesting matchups. I'm just going to state this. The ECSI VIPs 0-1 yesterday, and the true blessing is the past two Mondays, I think we started 0-3, 0-3. So we are only chasing one unit. We had Arizona team total over 4.5. That damn bastard from Pittsburgh, Beatty, who couldn't strike you or me out, goes 3 2/3 scoreless. Now think about that. 3 2/3 scoreless, where this guy couldn't get out of the second inning, And then, of course, Arizona adds 3 runs. So in my mind, you're going to get at least 2 against Beatty in the first couple innings, and then they get 3 in the back end. But it is what
Yeah,
it is. But
it
my
is what it
point here is they're pricing us out of all these games, and you try to get creative, going to the team totals, first fives minus the hooks, yada yada yada. But you're going to see these prices, and anyone says, "Well, just bet the good teams and don't bet the bad teams." Okay, well, until yesterday, the Yankees had lost 5 in a row, and they were like 13 and 17 their last 30. And if you bet them 100 every game, you were down about 2 dimes.
Right. No, 100%. I mean, it's there's no easy answer for it, and so yeah, I'm 100% with you. I scoffed for a second. Just got news: Tim Anderson, our starting shortstop, out 4 to 6 weeks, torn ligament in his hand. So the Sox are going to be without their shortstop, and White Sox out with shortstop and leadoff man 4 to 6 weeks. That obviously stinks, but nonetheless, that is where we're headed for the first game of the day. They are playing a doubleheader today, White Sox and Royals. This one is in Kansas City. Lance Lynn and Singer for the first one up. These ones, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts as far as if you're trying to play this doubleheader or not. Let me double check what the updated odds were, but the White Sox, not crazy. This one's actually been coming down, even this first one here, minus 135 on that first game with Lance Lynn on the mound. Singer on the opposing side. Singer had really had the White Sox number for a while, and the White Sox finally got to him last time out. Both these guys seeing the same opposing offenses for the second consecutive start. Lance Lynn was good last time out, like I mentioned. Singer was not good last time out. So are these, the total is, and then this first one is at 9.5. Let me make sure that's right. Now I'm kind of getting, or I'm sorry, the first one is at 8. The White Sox are minus 130. I was looking at the second one there. So the total for this one is 8. Still the same information, Lance Lynn and Brady Singer. Are you concerned about the White Sox in this one? Are you waiting for this first one? Are you thinking maybe the Royals win at least one of these games, so you're just betting them in both? Or obviously the first one, and if they don't, you're rolling it over and betting them again in the second one? Or are you hanging out or staying away from this one altogether?
Singer had been doing well. I think he blew up his last start. They just took 3 out of 4 from the Sox. Lance Lynn. Which Lance Lynn am I going to get? And
he's been good 2 out of the last 3, which is better than he had been, but there's still obviously the serious potential that it could be the bad Lance Lynn for sure.
And we both know Heasley is not good. So, but
Right.
What are you going to get from Martin as well? I'm going to pass game 1 and maybe look toward, if the White Sox lose, look to them games 2, or even look at them as a team total game 2, or maybe an over. I would expect some runs in that second game.
No, I think I'm with you. To clear up, Martin, I mean, yeah, you're not, I'm not sure what to expect. He hasn't been like a punching bag when he's come up. He's come up in these spots as far as doubleheaders pretty often. 4.75 ERA. Not good, but it's not, he hasn't been a total punching bag, so I'm with you on that one. Next one up, I believe, is Miami and the Phillies. The Phillies, one of the hotter teams in the damn league right now. Wheeler pitching well. The Marlins, not one of the hotter teams right now. They are. We talked about them the other day as kind of seeing what's ahead of them and probably looking like a team that's going to be a fade-worthy team today. However, you mentioned that this one's one of the games that you're kind of priced out of. Any way to get into this one at all, or the price is too steep for the Phillies in this one?
I look at this, and we know the Marlins can't score, and in comes Wheeler. And if you tried to get creative, watch, they'll put up a cricket number in the first or second inning. I mean, Garrett's been okay, but Wheeler, and like you said, the Phillies are scoring. It's a team. It's an under/over, a 7 and a hook. You're priced out. I know some people will be diving into Phillies minus the hook first 5, Phillies minus a 1.5 full game. I don't mind it. I'm just going to say this. Does the minus 220, 225 seem short to you?
With how cold Miami's offense has been, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the last few days, even against, it's not like they've been facing a murderer's row. Cincinnati and the Cubs, and I don't think they've put up more than 3. At least all I see in front of me is the last 5, but haven't put up more than 3 in the last 5. So I think you might be right on that one. Yeah.
I mean, anyone wants to jump in on the Wheeler train, I'm okay with it. Like I said, minus the hook, first 5, minus the 1.5. It smells to me, though. And again, I'm not here back in the Miami or saying, hey, I think Miami's the side here. I just look at some numbers here. The Mets are minus 304. Your Cubs, not your Cubs, but the Cubs
I
minus
know.
200. St. Louis on the road was minus 190. I mean, the prices are so inflated. The Guardians minus 185. It just with Wheeler on the mound and the Phillies at home, it just seems a little short to me.
No, I think I'm with you. And yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen this Marlins team? We talked about them. Well, they've only put up 3 or less in the last 6, 7 games. And then there's that one game, like you said, where they snap out of it and smack you in the mouth for a day. And then they go back to being the same Marlins team. So I'm with you. They've been on my do not bet list essentially for the most part altogether. So next one up, the everyone's favorite Baltimore Orioles hosting the Toronto Blue Jays. Orioles get the win last night for game 1 of this series, but you got Manoah on the mound for the Blue Jays. So kind of a similar it's interesting because obviously everyone's darling are the damn Blue Jays. Minus 155 I'm seeing right now for the Blue Jays. Is that would you respect it a lot more if it was a lot higher, or is that just a a differing price because of how much every average person is just in love with this Orioles team? Is there any way of looking at it like that?
100%. The overnight number was 190. The number is 155 because they're starting to get a good flow of money coming in on the darling Orioles, who I think are 1 game back now of the playoff spot. And so they're getting some solid backing. Now, am I going to run to the window and tell you to bet Manoah minus the 150? No, the Jays bats have kind of gone quiet too. I wouldn't have a problem minus the hook first 5, full game minus a 1.5. It's an under over of 8.5. I'm really trying to stay away from laying the minus 150s and 155s. I think if the Jays are going to win, it would be by 2 or more.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you. It's gonna be interesting. I've never I don't know the last time I've seen a team that everyone expected to be so poorly perform as they are, and everyone is just rallying around them. So it's awesome to see. I would think we all hope it continues. We already talked about a little bit. As far as tonight's game specifically, Atlanta and Boston, where you're at right now, Morton and Hill, interesting matchup as far as those two guys in their careers. But you've got minus 155 for the Braves. We mentioned the Braves got smoked by the Mets over the weekend, 4 out of 5 losses there. But the Red Sox are trying, if they haven't found rock bottom, they're still digging and searching for it. So total of 9.5 today. Are we going to see offense both ways, or one of these guys getting smoked as opposed to the other here?
Rich Hill got the call to pitch the last game in Houston, and he did okay early. Actually, I shouldn't say. Gave up 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Bello comes in. Bello gets hurt. You would say that the Sox would have some pride here. You really do, but I don't see it. What would I suggest here? Julian came on. I think he's already got 1.5 units or 2 units again on Charlie Morton, ground chuck. I'm not going to suggest to lay the minus 154. I'll suggest a couple things there. Minus the hook, first 5. Run line, minus a 1.5 full game. I don't know if you have it in front of you. My guess would be 4.5 juiced over would be at the Brave team total. I don't know if you have that in front of you.
I can pull it up real quick. I didn't have it on the app I was looking at there. What was your guess?
4.5 probably juiced over, minus 135, 140.
On DraftKings, they are hanging 5.5 at plus 105 up for the over. Under at minus 135 over there. Let me double check a couple other ones, see if there's a price on a 4.5 also. But so that's they're hanging 5.5 over there.
And that's a Boston shop.
Yeah. Let's see. FanDuel is hanging 5 at minus 118. So they got a flat 5 at minus 118 there.
All right, go to FanDuel, flat 5 minus 118 for your cherry on top.
There you go. First 5. How about in over 2.5 at minus 120? So not quite as tasty there.
Oh, but when he gives up the 3-run homer in the first, it is.
That's fair. No, as far as the pricing, no, totally. So yeah, that one could be a rough one there for you. Cincinnati and the Mets. Where was I? Cincinnati and the Mets is the next one up. Minor and Carrasco. Carrasco was awesome in July. Got one start last week. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned. That was against Atlanta last time. This one a pretty massive number for the Mets. Minus 320 over on DraftKings right now. Is that a fair line? Is that are you buying Carrasco at that price? Is that just the Mets smoking hot, getting guys back, get their ground back, take 4 out of 5 from the Braves, or is this a fair line for this today's case in general?
I promise to anyone that wants to listen, up until October 3rd, I think is the last day of baseball. If you don't have your Mets to win the National League, you don't have your Mets to win the World Series. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series. I think they're coming out in the National League. I think they beat the Dodgers, though I don't have the breakdown in front of me when they would play each other. Okay. And I don't care, beer and pizza money. Okay. I've seen enough. And these guys are just Nemo. And, just these guys are coming out of the blue, clutch hits. And then you got Alonso, you got Lindor. And then you got Diaz with the greatest walk-in song in the history of mankind. I mean, That was absolutely amazing. You got Pat McAfee wondering, did they practice this? I mean, he comes in, he stretches. I mean, it was amazing. So
awesome.
If you guys haven't seen that, please YouTube that one. And it's also, don't forget, Mike Minor. Now we had the Marlins team total over 3.5 on last week against Minor, and the Marlins scored 3. So just the Mets are on fire and Minor sucks.
Yeah.
So
Minor.
I'm not going to tell anyone to go minus 300. I mean, I assume team total there is probably 5.5, and they probably have it juiced under. That would be my guess.
It is, over 5.5 is plus 100 for the Mets. Under 5.5 at minus 130. The first 5 over 2.5 is at over 2.5 is at minus 150, and the under is plus 130 for the first 5 there.
That's an Alonso homer coming up or whoever. And it was an over overnight of 8. And Circa said, not so fast. They got it 9 juiced under minus 20. The rest of the Vegas Strip, 8.5 over 15 cents. So they got the Mets scoring 5 at least tonight, 5-2, 5-3, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yep, sounds about right to me. Heading to Detroit for the next one. You mentioned a little bit Cleveland to Detroit. Shane Bieber on the mound for Cleveland. Tyler Alexander for Detroit. Detroit just not playing good baseball once again at this point in the season. Total is at 7.5. Trust Bieber in this one, or are you seeing something else here? Would you respect it a little more, or is that are you happy with whatever it is, right around minus 200 there?
Justin Verlander is an auto bet first 5 minus the hook. I think he's 15-3 overall for the year, and he's probably in those starts this year. He's probably 15-2 or something stupid. Yeah. I mean, I look at Bieber. If you wanted to dive in first 5 minus the hook, I don't have a problem with it. It's too, the Guardians hanging around. You would expect this is a good spot for him. Alexander's been okay. I tell all the old timers, it's not Doyle Alexander, guys. It's another Alexander, so be careful there. But I would dip first 5 minus the hook if you're looking for some Guardian action. Other than that, I would stay put.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I didn't have too strong of thoughts there. Other than emotionally, I'm hoping they start to hit the skids and Bieber gets smoked today. But nonetheless, I'll save that for another time. You mentioned it, not my Cubs, but the Cubs are here in my city of Windy City, Chicago, on the north side tonight. Espino versus Stroman and the Nationals. If you haven't been paying attention, 6 straight losses. Not playing well without Juan Soto. Weren't playing well with him, obviously. Now it's ugly the last 6 games or so. Stroman's been pretty damn solid the last handful of starts, or at least much better than where he started the season. Nats lineup, though, decent success against him throughout their career, for at least who else is on there right now. But Espino, pretty damn hit or miss. Anything to make out of this one? Cubs minus 200. Is that giving you the respect for Stroman today?
Someone reached out to me yesterday and they asked about the Cubs and the run line. And what I was just basically saying out loud is the Cubs, okay, 44-64. Okay, they're 20 games. Actually, they were 21 games under 500 before last night. And then you look at the Nationals, 36-75. They're almost 40 games under 500. But I didn't see Kerry Wood on the mound yesterday. I didn't see, Mark Pryor, Rick Sutcliffe, and yet they were minus 180, and now tonight they're minus 200. I get it, guys. I do, but I cannot go to the window and bet it. I'm sorry, I can't.
No, absolutely not. It's minus 150. I think would probably be my threshold for this one. If I'm dying to bet the Cubs, I'm not saying that I would respect that number. I'm saying that's the type of price for this one with Stroman where I would that's the only spot where I'd even close to consider the Cubs in this one. But I'm with you. They're just not good enough. They're just not good enough of a team right now. They'll go on these little 3 out of 4 spurts every couple of weeks, but aside from that, they're still a really inconsistent and not that talented baseball team. Seemed like they got a little emotional spark out of Contreras for a couple days after him not being traded, and I think that dust is going to settle here for the Cubs. And I think I lean towards them winning this game, but with the pricing there, absolutely not. I'm out on that one for sure.
I agree.
Let's see. Next one up, Milwaukee hosting the Tampa Bay Rays in this one. Yacobonis on the mound for the Rays, if that's how you pronounce it. But that'll most likely be a bullpen day for Tampa there. Freddie Peralta on the other end for Milwaukee. Second start since his long IL stint. 67 pitches last time out. 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. But Tampa over the weekend, they've won 4 out of the last 5. Most of that is Detroit. So, are you buying any momentum for the Rays, or is that just catching those Detroit Tigers at the right time there?
Woodruff was scheduled, and they moved Peralta in, an overnight number of 162. It's staying pat. I guess it's the chicken or the egg. Are you buying the Tampa momentum, like you said, against the Tigers, or the disrespect on the Brewers? I'm looking at this, an under-over of 8 under minus 15. Money line too steep for me. You're getting it around 159, 158 on the Vegas Strip. DraftKings as high as 165. I would like to say the Brewers minus the run line, but Devin Williams, since they let Hader go, has not looked like Devin Williams. He's looked like Billy D. Williams, but they're pricing me out. I mean, listen, if you believe in the Brewers, take the run line and just hope that they get to 4, 5, or 6. And Tampa, it is a bullpen game, and that's their strength. And I don't know what you're going to get from Yacobonis.
Right. I honestly am leaning towards finding value in Tampa here, but it's almost too good to be true if I'm looking at it that way, honestly. So, Freddie Peralta, obviously, I talked about him recently. I mean, he was really good last year and obviously just hasn't been that guy yet. So if that's what's going to happen, we're going to see a nasty Freddie Peralta today. Maybe then, you can talk me into the Brewers. But otherwise, I don't know. Also, tough to judge if the Tampa Bay Rays have momentum. They just played, it was the Detroit Tigers. Who the hell knows if that's actually momentum or not. So moving on to the next one, Houston hosting Texas. Martin Perez versus Jose Urquidy. Perez, 4 straight starts of 1 or less earned run, but Houston getting minus 190. Are you buying that number? You seen some regression for Perez, or is that just flat out the Houston Astros are that much of a better team than the Texas Rangers?
Didn't Urquidy have a great game? Didn't they face each other not too long ago?
I don't know if that specifically. I was looking at Urquidy. He's been solid. He's got like 8 straight starts of 3 or less runs, if I'm not mistaken. He was fantastic against your Red Sox last time out. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 10 Ks. So he was fantastic against the Red Sox last time out.
I think from an eye and market standpoint that the number was looking for Ranger money in Perez. This didn't open at 150 and get pushed to 176. The overnight number was 190. Yeah. Okay. Now it's down to 176. Anyone that wants to think they're getting some value with Perez, I see it. He's been pitching great again. He came out of the gates this year, guns a-blazing, hit a little bump, but now he's back to the old Martin Perez. The number looks to me like they want Texas money. I'll just throw a little Astro run line tonight. How's that?
Okay. Is any of that, so they put up 1 run and 0 runs. Anytime they go 2 cold days like that, I'm always real nervous that they're going to come out blazing on that third day or whatever the case might be. So I'm kind of with you. I honestly, personally expect some regression from Perez on a more consistent basis here. Whether that starts tonight, I don't know. But I've been expecting some bigger regression from him this season.
I'll go Altuve and I'll go Bregman with homers tonight.
How about I don't even know if he's in the lineup, but I guess I'll stay with the guy Trey Mancini staying
Oh, good.
nice
That's a
and
good one.
toasty over there. There you go. Yeah.
That's a good one. There you go.
All right, you mentioned them a little bit. The Cardinals heading to Colorado. I'm not sure. Did they play yesterday, or is this game one of the series? I think that's game one of that series there. Mikolas and Feltner. Feltner's been splitting time between AAA and Colorado. Not sure what to make of him. Has not been very good this season. But the Cardinals, 7 straight wins, 2-game lead in the NL Central. What was the number here? About minus 170, 175. Would you respect this one if it was a little bit higher, or is that a fair price there? Again, it's in Colorado there.
Every time we're about to put the Cardinals back into lookout, this is that dangerous team that's going to win the division and they're going to sneak a series or two in the playoffs. They lay an egg. Now, I smell something here. It was an overnight number of 190. It's 163, an under over of 11, juiced over minus 115. It is 120 at Westgate and South Point and DraftKings. I'm going to go on record. This will be my dog of the day. I think the Rockies get it done.
I mean, they're a winning team at home, man. So I'm not hating on it at all. I'm a big proponent of the home team Rockies. If you catch in a number like this, I think this is one of their series all season long. I've had series where it's like, all right, they're gonna find a way at least 1 or 2 of these games, and typically I go into the first game. If I get the money in the first game, then I'm taking it and running for the next 2. But nonetheless, this is one series where I think the Rockies might have some value at least a couple of days here.
And I think our Thursday or Friday show, when I said Oakland over Shoei, remember that was almost a 2-1, yeah, and that came through. So I'm going to go with the Rockies today. That's the dog of the day.
I like it. I'm gonna endorse that one for you. So, great lead-in because the next one is Shohei Ohtani heading to the Oakland A's. We're rolling out the transitions here today. Ohtani and Caprillion. Caprillion, 3 earned runs or less in the last 8 starts, and the Oakland A's are 6-2 in all 8 of those starts. The Angels, you mentioned it. Ohtani wasn't bad, I don't think, against Oakland. I know 2 out of the last 3. One of those, his last 3 starts. One of them wasn't great, but it's still the other 2 were solid. But the Angels have lost each of his last 3 starts that he has pitched. Are we seeing some trends continuing, or is he going to be lights out tonight and get this one himself?
Well, this number doesn't make any sense because he was like minus 240 his last start against them. And I want to say it was Caprillion, or I don't know if it was Caprillion or it was Irvin. I think it was. These guys matched up against each other.
Yep,
they're coming back, and they're saying it's Shoei's day. An under over a 6.5, juiced over minus 15. First 1 to 4 wins this game. That's what they're saying. We've been waiting for the Caprillion regression. It hasn't happened. This kid has been lights out in July. He's taken it in August. I don't want to say Shohei's going through the motions. The Angels are in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the V word, the values with Oakland, but Vegas is making it pretty clear that they're back in the Angels today. So Angels minus the hook, run line, go at it. Maybe Caprillion does get a little regression today.
With what we talked about, I'm drawing a blank if it was Saturday or Sunday as far as the DeGrom Mets and going against the DeGrom Mets and feeling like you got egg on your face on Sunday night. I'm going to stay away from this one to avoid getting Shohei Ohtani's egg on my face if that one happens to me today after taking that one on the chin. So wouldn't shock me either way, though.
Well, I'm going to backtrack to that because it was a doubleheader on Saturday. So they played a 5-game set, and Mets win Thursday, Braves win Friday. Mets win the first game, and of course Max is there in the second game. So MLB 101 is you watch the first game. Whoever loses, you bet on the second game. So the Braves plus 125, Max is Max, and the Mets win that one. So then they go into Sunday, the night game, and it's Fried versus DeGrom, and yet again DeGrom was only minus 130, which is He's usually minus 230. I don't care if Pedro's pitching against him. And they were leading you to say, come, we'll take the Mets money over here.
Yeah.
And DeGrom's DeGrom.
I know. I stand by it, but I'm not going to risk getting the egg on my face today. I can feel that one coming my way even before I put that one in. So, next one up. Don't have strong thoughts on this one. Curious if you do. Pittsburgh and Arizona. Thompson and Tommy Henry. Henry making a second career start last week. 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs versus Cleveland. Thompson has not been good at all. Total only at 8.5 here. Anything? Do you make sense out of any of these numbers, or is this a bunch of question marks across the board? And anybody's guess is anybody's best guess here.
I'll tell anyone watching and listening. We had the team total over for Arizona last night, 4 and a hook, and we lose that game. I will not be taking the Arizona team total today over. What is it right now? Is it a flat 4, 3.5 juiced over?
See here.
Probably a flat 4, my guess would be.
You're asking for Arizona?
Yeah.
Let's see. DraftKings has got 4.5 at minus 115.
On the over?
On the over, yep. I think.
All right, guys. I am not releasing it today, so that means run to the window. It goes over.
There you go. Hey, I'm double checking to see if FanDuel's got a similar number over here. For the D-backs, they are 4.5 at minus 102 over on FanDuel. Minus 102 for the over there. So interesting.
Yeah, they'll have it by the 5th inning, guys. Don't worry about it.
Okay. No, Thompson, 5.15 ERA, 3-8 record. He has not been good by any means. So only 2 or 3 more left here. Heading to the West Coast, San Francisco and San Diego. Alex Cobb, Joe Musgrove, the San Diego Padres, as much as everyone's hopping on the bandwagon. 5 straight losses, 3 of them obviously to the Dodgers, but nonetheless, you're hoping to go ahead.
23 straight scoreless innings.
Oh, I did not realize that. Okay. I did not check that one out. But Musgrove himself was not very good last time out. Obviously, the Giants last night get the 1-0 win. This one is the Giants. I have been soured by the Giants, but only putting up 1 run. That's not giving me a lot of optimism here against Joe Musgrove here. What the number was minus 182, now minus 175 on DraftKings. Any optimism for the Padres that they get this one done and Musgrove bounces back in this one?
Musgrove got paid. He got that 4 or 5 year extension from the Padres before his last start. So it was more of a celebration. Expect a bounce back. And it's all over social media, the 23 straight innings. I think that Padres get it done. Obviously, I'm not going to play the money line. So first 5 minus the hook, run line minus 1.5. And we got Cobb on that side. And I'll say Soto gets his first Padre home run today.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you. This one seems like it should be the full type of celebration for the Padres as far as the team that they've got. So I think I'm with you on that one. And the Giants. Any optimism? I know you had been soured a while back on the Giants. Any optimism that they can turn things around, or you think they're what we've seen from the last few weeks is kind of what they'll continue to be here?
They're done. Hey, and by the way, you brought up something yesterday, and I'm just drawing a blank. Let me make sure. Who's the Sunday night game?
That was wasn't it the Padres?
And the Dodgers, right?
Padres and Dodgers. So it was Sunday we were talking about Padres and Dodgers, and then I said tomorrow, if you see me, check out on the Padres, and then there they are putting up a goose egg on Monday night despite the short travel there.
I said, are they getting a Lyft or an Uber? So again, there it is there. And I know it was a short trip, so we said it tongue in cheek. But the Sunday night team that travels generally loses. Now it's not 80%, it's not 70%. Listen, they took a Lyft and an Uber. They took the Partridge family's bus back. They lost 1-0.
You've got the Yankees and Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball this upcoming weekend. So there you go. That's going to be a nice, interesting spotlight for you there on this weekend. So
I won't be watching. Trust me. I hope I'll be doing the fantasy draft. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Anything to wrap up as far as Giants and Padres? We only got 2 more left here.
Padres run line. Padres first 5 minus the hook. Soto homer.
There you go. I like that. Minnesota and the Dodgers in this one. Only a 2-game series, I do believe, this week for those two teams. Joe Ryan and Julio Urias. The Dodgers 8 straight wins. They are the hottest team under the sun right now. Are you respecting that number, or is it inflated because of what they're doing right now? And if that is an inflated number, you seen any value on the Twins in this game here tonight?
I wish it was the Ryan that started the year, not this Ryan. He struggled. He was banged up, and he hasn't had, in my eyes, enough success. It's one of these again. I'm not going to get in front of this Dodger train. This reminds me of the Yankees when they were just mowing people down. It's almost set it and forget it, and miraculously they'll put up a crooked number in the fifth to win the first five. Miraculously, they'll score enough runs to win the run. Listen, I like Minnesota's offense. I don't know what you're going to get from Urias. You're probably going to get a better outing than you do from Ryan. I had on Friday when we went 4-0, we had this Twin team that was up 5-0 to the Jays. Then it was 5-5, and they left bases loaded. A guy on second, a guy on second, a guy on second. I mean, I was pulling what little hair I had left out. But I'm just not going to get in front of this Dodger train.
Okay. So I'm with you 100%. I'm not doing it. Any angle as far as betting the Twins both days, hoping they salvage at least a split, or are you that concerned about this Dodger train that you don't even want to mess around with that?
Do you have tomorrow's starters?
All I see is Sonny Gray for Minnesota, undecided for the Dodgers.
And Sonny was god awful his last start. Oh,
I know.
God.
Actually,
you know what? The Dodgers are out of starters. I think they're going to have to pull someone up, or they go straight bullpen game, because this is Kershaw probably supposed to have come up. So they're
maybe team total tomorrow if they get smoked today for the Twins. Maybe
I can see that. Hey, you know what? Too. Hey, listen, the Twins are okay against lefties too. They got some good right-handed bats. I would bet you could probably check your team totals. I bet you it's 3.5 juice, probably over -130, maybe.
Let's see. For the first 5 innings, you can catch over 1.5 at +105 for the Twins in the first 5 innings. The full game over 3.5 at +115. So, as far as tonight's game, so
I don't know. Listen, you just need a guy on in a homer, a Buxton homer or something, a 2-spot. I keep a little beer and pizza first 5 on over 1.5.
I'll tell you, it's really just the Dodgers train that's scared me off. Otherwise, I'd probably be all in, man. But at the end of the day, it's and another one that I am desperate that the Dodgers smoke them for 2 straight days, and the White Sox can win a couple games and be right there after this next 2 days are concerned. But nonetheless, one more left. Interesting matchup. Very interested in your thoughts on this one. This one, as far as intrigue, is one of the higher rated games of the day. I would say Yankees and the Mariners. Garrett Cole and Luis Castillo, both these guys just faced each other. I know they faced each other as opposing offense. I think they faced each other in the same game. Cole obviously gets smoked in the first inning for 6 runs or whatever it was. Castillo pretty solid, but is his first start. So any way to get into this one? The number is leading to tell you that maybe pump the brakes on the Yankees. But personally, I would be surprised to see Cole getting smoked for 2 straight days. I would kind of expect a little Castillo regression, seeing them a second time, but nonetheless, I'm probably going to go popcorn game for this one for me. What about you?
Yeah, Cole gave up the touchdown in Yankee Stadium. Castillo, gifted 6 runs, and he just cruised. Yeah. Does he get any extra electricity first time starting in Seattle for the home fans?
There you go.
Yankees. The public was all in on Seattle yesterday and Gilbert, and the Yankees put up a couple crooked numbers. The first thought would be to take Cole expecting a bounce back, and the Yankees, after a 5-game losing streak, they got the win to piggyback off of that. So a slight lean Yankees right now at circa. You can get Cole -127. I'll say full game there.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you. Over under a 7, so it's leading you to believe at least one of these dudes, if not both of them, are going to be fantastic today. So I know I'm with you on this one. It was another situation where I'm a little concerned if a guy's solid or decent against a good offense, seeing him for the second straight time in a row. In Steele's case, I'm a little concerned. In most cases for that, but nonetheless, like you said, going to Seattle, I didn't really factor that in. First time in Seattle, that could give him a boost. So. Yeah, like I said, popcorn game for me, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think that's about all we've got for today's slate. Anything else to add that I did not, my friend?
No, that a full slate. Great job by you breaking it down. We had a lot of nuggets out there. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, you can reach me at EC Sports Invest. You can reach Riley at Riley_Magnuson the one. Ask him away. He replies back. I reply back. It's a good slate compared to yesterday's 7-game slate. There's a lot of landmines out there. There's a lot of gold mines too. So just be careful. We are 19 days away from week 0. So we have a lot of football work ahead of us to get ready for that. So take your time. Listen, you don't need to be pressing the envelope here on the MLB slate. It's tough sledding out there. Vegas is overpricing and inflating a lot of these games, and it makes it real hard. I mean, if you're sitting there putting together 3, 4, 5, 6, 8-legged parlays, God bless you.
Right.
They usually end up as coasters at the end of the day. We like to say a chalk sandwich. You take the 4 or 5 biggest favorites, and there's always one that crashes and burns. So just be careful out there.
Yeah, and if you're this aggressive at this point in the baseball season, like you said, God bless you, man. If you've been able to tread water, going that aggressive as if you're talking that aggressive, it's someone that's been that aggressive all season long. So, yeah, God bless you. But before we go, I've got one quick question that I was thinking about yesterday, as far as NFL, and then we can wrap it up. I'm curious what your prediction, odds aside, if you want to bake odds into it, you're more than welcome to. What's your prediction for first coach fired in this NFL upcoming season here? If I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. I've got my thought.
I'm going to let you take it first, and then let me think about this as you're talking.
So my prediction, there's one guy that's I was actually doing my prediction before I saw the odds, and then I was looking at the odds, and the guy at the top wasn't surprising to me. That was my number 2, not my pick, but Matt Rule is the odds, like 3-1 leader in the clubhouse for the highest odds there. I could absolutely see it. My pick, though, I was a little surprised to see him. He's like 10th best odds, but I'm going Arthur Smith out of Atlanta, year 2. Was not impressed at all what I saw last year as far as lack of adjustments offensively, mostly. I mean, that's his MO. He's an offensive coach. Giving Matt Ryan really poor situations to work out of. Another reason why I think Matt Ryan's going to have a nice bounce back season here this year. But they opened up with the Saints, who the Saints obviously question mark of what we'll see from them. But Jameis Winston, if he's healthy, if it's Mike Glennon, then maybe I'm changing my tone as far as that first game. But Jameis Winston and the Saints, then the Rams, and the Seahawks, who I'm pretty low on, but. That's one that obviously I think the Seahawks are favored by 3.5 as I'm looking at it right now. So if Saints, Rams, Seahawks, then the Browns, the Buccaneers, the Niners, and the Bengals. That's their first 7 games. I don't see more than 2 wins out of that stretch right there, 2-5. I honestly think it's going to be maybe 1-6 out of that first 7 games, if not worse. So that is my prediction as far as Arthur Smith getting the boot after probably right around that first 7-game stretch, and then they got a couple with Carolina baked in right after that, 2 out of the next 3 after that 7-game stretch.
No, Rule's a good one, and he is the favorite. I wouldn't go there. The one that I would lean to, the only problem is he never does it mid-season. And, my take on this is more predicated to the following year, and I'll backtrack this way and say this. Supposedly, Sean Payton and Brady were going to be the next tandem in Miami. And then the allegations, then the suing, and with Flores, and then so they both back off. Peyton retires and then goes up into the booth, and Tom retires, then he comes back to Tampa. So I'm thinking he's just taking a year off. He's just going to decompress. He's going to, get the juices flowing again. And, I have Brady Tinker on all the time, and he keeps trying to set me straight that I thought there was a love affair with Jerry and Sean Payton. He says no, but you got the odds in front of you. I'm going to just take a swing here. What is McCarthy's odds to be fired?
I'll double check. I dropped him down. I don't have him right in front of me. He was either second or third though, and that was I was going through them of the list. Rule was up there. Mike McCarthy's up there. I've obviously got strong thoughts of what I think about Mike McCarthy, but I'm with you. I wasn't even considering that angle of it as far as Sean, because I'm with you. I mean, obviously, if a Dallas guy is telling you there's no love affair, then maybe that's holds more water than us. But I am 100% with you. I wasn't even considering that. And also, I mean, the guy is, what exactly is he doing on a game-to-game basis to help that team win? I personally wasn't a fan of the hire in the first place. I thought he was good his first few years in Green Bay, and then the league kind of outdated him, and he's just not as effective as a coach anymore. So I am not hating on you for that one at all. I could absolutely see that one. First coach, yeah, that first coach might be interesting. I guess it would be a short leash as far as if they stumble at all out of the gates, then maybe. But yeah, I might be with you on that one.
Yeah, it's always interesting. And as the season progresses, we'll be throwing these out weekly because now in today's sports book and our cell phones, smartphones are walking casinos, every week the numbers change. It's numbers, guys. It's not logos. It's not names on the back. It's like the stock market, it's the sports market, and
yeah, they
change.
Right. Plus 450 for Mike McCarthy. He is number 2 right there. 450. Somehow, if he wasn't fired in the offseason, Pete Carroll, number 3, 6-1. If he wasn't fired in the offseason, I don't think he's going to be the first one fired there. That's not happening. Ron Rivera's up there. If things go south quickly there, I like Ron Rivera, but if things go south there, that one could definitely be a short leash there. And then I guess Cliff Kingsbury.
What about Arizona?
I was going to say Cliff Kingsbury. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Arizona, yeah. 12-1. He's down the list around 10th. But if things go south there, then absolutely. I don't think he's a terrible coach, but I don't think he's a very good coach. So I'm with you on that one. I kind of want them to move on from him if you're asking me.
Tons of Nuggets, peeps. Tomorrow at 1:00 currently, Andrew McGinnis. I will figure out something with Riley. We'll either do a morning or probably do a closing bell tomorrow afternoon, Riley.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have – you have the MLB schedule in front of you? Is there a lot of day games?
Let's see. Tomorrow – we've got there is a few. It's pretty balanced slate. It's I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in the either starting at in between noon and 3 o'clock. So the other rest of the games are in the evening. What's that? You kind of cut out there. I didn't hear you.
I said poops.
Oh,
so
okay.
What do you say? 6 day games and then like 6 night games?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 night games.
All right, we'll figure that one out. So,
yeah.
Everyone, if you are wagering tonight, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number available. Just ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed afternoon. Have some fun today, guys. Cash a few tickets. Stay close, and we'll see you soon.